A limited number of people get a chance to travel by air, especially in developing countries. However, a sizable number of personnel from developed countries enjoy this facility, and their expertise can actually help passengers make better flight decisions and enjoy their travel time like a pro. The aviation industry has a variety of fields and relevant aspects. It might come as a surprise to you guys that there's quite a few times and tricks that can make your life easier on the plane, and nowadays these are being shared by the airline staff online. For instance, you'd be surprised to find out the real reasons behind low-quality airline food, or the fact that there's actually a seat on each plane that ensures maximum safety in case of an emergency. Today, we'll acquaint you with some of the craziest flight secrets the public mostly are unaware of. Make sure to watch till the end to find out what happens if someone dies on an airborne plane. But before we begin, make sure you have subscribed to our channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on our upcoming videos. Prepare for boarding. Some passengers consider boarding to be the most agonizing part of air travel as they come across a rush of anxious fellow travelers. The majority of airlines usually pre-assign specific seats to each passenger. Moving at the last serves as a good tip to avoid waiting for long. It also helps in avoiding the clogging up of personnel at the gate area and jet bridge. Well, you can find a 6-digit alphanumerical code on most of the boarding passes that's called the passenger name record, which is meant to identify individual passengers in case there are more than one with the same name. This code is recorded in the database of computer reservation systems that carry flight itineraries. It can record important information like your date of birth and contact details. Therefore, you should never throw your boarding pass in a public trash can. This database code corresponds to information related to credit card, passport and IP addresses if the booking is made online. Another code, having SSSS, stands for Secondary Security Screening Selection. It can be found on the tickets of some passengers and they have to undergo some additional security checks. It's added for passengers who are deemed suspicious due to some innocent-looking things which are considered doubtful by the airline's officials. These may include buying a ticket at the last moment, one-way fares, or purchasing tickets using cash. The best approach is to not panic in such a situation. Striking solutions. Commercial aircrafts are huge structures, on average weighing 175,000 pounds, and that includes about 90,000 pounds of fuel and 45,000 pounds of weight for passengers, crew and cargo. Pilots may have to encounter a collision between the aeroplane and birds. In 2015, the Turkish Airlines plane collided with a bird. Fortunately, passengers on board this flight remained safe. In the US, approximately 13,000 aeroplane bird strikes are reported annually. Walls and fences are obviously not much effective in keeping birds away from airport runways. Therefore, airport authorities have to adopt innovative methods like one that's used to scare birds at Virginia's Reagan International Airport, firing blanks out of cannons. Making the surroundings of airports less bird-friendly, like filling up ponds and replacing grass with gravel, can also be useful. French airport at Lord Tabs-Pyrenees lights up LED screens with large pairs of googly eyes to ward off birds by acting as an aviation scarecrow. Bad weather can also add to problems of airport authorities. The nose cone of the aircraft was battered by hailstones that were larger than golf balls. After having flown through a hailstorm, its windows were badly shattered and the pilot had to land the plane almost totally blind. Fortunately, no one on board was hurt. Some pilots get nervous by the possibility of lightning striking a plane. It's estimated that every commercial airliner flying in the USA is lightly struck by lightning at least once a year. But it's not really dangerous. Before induction, every aircraft undergoes lightning strike simulations that test its conductivity. It ensures that lightning can travel unhindered across the plane's exterior shell and then go back into the sky through an extremity such as the wingtip or nose, whereas all those inside remain safe. Dump drop. Officially, airplane bathrooms are not permitted to be emptied into the sky. However, accidents do take place. On flushing the airplane toilet, strong suction pulls the waste away using just a little amount of water, and the content is held in a big disinfectant-filled holding tank. On the termination of a flight at the airport, the mixture is sucked into a tanker and dumped. This frozen chunk of pulverized Smurf, seen here, is made of human waste and blue liquid disinfectant. In 2017, it was found on the ground after having fallen from some airplane. Between 1979 and 2003, there had been at least 27 documented incidents of blue ice meteors of this kind in the USA. Aviation rules don't permit pilots or crew to do so, but sometimes it occurs from the plane's septic tank. Food for thought. Meals served in flight are prepared by the industrial catering facilities on the ground located near airports. These are usually prepared from 12 to 72 hours before the intended departure time of a flight. Instead of frozen, most of the airline's meals are blast chilled and conveyed to the aeroplane. One may ask, despite all efforts, why at times meals served during flight are so bad. It's related to human biology. Humidity levels in airplane cabins are as low as 10%, whereas in the air, even in deserts, it's above 25%. It's drier than the Sahara Desert. At this low humidity level, human sinuses get so dehydrated that it badly affects human ability to taste and smell. After spending some time in the plane cabin, our tongue's ability to taste sweet flavors goes down to 15 or 20%, whereas salty flavors are reduced by 20 to 30%. To cater for it, certain airlines immensely increase the amount of salt and sugar in food. Well, using a pair of noise-cancelling headphones that reduce engine noise can make food and drinks tasty. The studies show that loud background noise can dampen our ability to taste food. Pilots have to follow specific rules related to food. Pilots and co-pilots are warned not to eat the same food as a preventative measure against mutual food poisoning. Some airlines provide a meal to pilots from the first-class menu, whereas the co-pilot receives food from business class. Snakes on a plane. A pilot's job is considered to be one of the most stressful. The aviation industry terms it a matter of life and death. In case the pilot and co-pilot don't have a harmonious relationship with each other, they can endanger the life of passengers. Every captain, first and second officer is given a do not pair list on which they can list the names of their co-workers with whom they wouldn't like to share a flight. These requests are submitted through a monthly schedule. Accordingly, an approved list of flying nemesis is entered into the airline scheduling system. It helps to avoid combining two adversary pilots paired on the same flight. Personal dislikes and rivalries can lead to extremely serious accidents, especially during takeoff and landing, where intense attention is required. The safest seat. The chances of death in a commercial airplane crash are very low, to the extent of 1 in 3.37 billion. Reportedly, every 1 out of 3 Americans suffers a fear of flying, which has led people to think about where is the safest place in an airplane if an accident takes place. The analysis conducted by Time magazine of 17 airplane crashes over the last 35 years showed that historically seats located in the rear 1/3 area of aircraft had over 68% chance of survival, compared with 62% in the front and 61% in the middle third. Data analysis also indicated that aisle seats in the middle third proved to be the worst seats in case of a crash, with survival rates at 56%. However, middle seats, particularly in the rear of the aircraft, are considered to be the safest location and afford a 72% chance of surviving in case of a crash landing. Skybound secrets. A tiny hole at the bottom of the window is one of the strongest safety features in a plane. As the plane flies higher, the air pressure drops correspondingly. Therefore, aircraft are designed to maintain air pressure in the cabin at a safe and breathable level. A normal single-pane window will easily break at this high altitude, but aeroplane windows are made of 3 strong panels of acrylic. The exterior window keeps the elements out and maintains cabin pressure, whereas the middle panel acts as a fail-safe in case something happens to the first panel. The innermost panel acts as the final line of defense. The tiny hole, called the bleed hole, is situated in the middle panel, with the primary objective to balance the air pressure between the outer and the middle panes. The tiny hole also keeps the window from frosting over and fogging up. You can find some small black or red triangles marked along with the cabin interiors. These actually indicate to the cabin crew which window would afford the best vantage point to view the wings of the airplane, permitting them to keep an eye on the engine and wings. Sounds are also used for running things like clockwork. This familiar chime is usually a sign to get back to your seat and fasten the seatbelt. However, this chime can mean more, as each airline uses sounds that are slightly different. A singular chime may be the pilot's warning to flight attendants regarding upcoming turbulence. 2 consecutive chimes generally indicate that the aircraft is approaching the height of 10,000 feet, and 3 or more times means a serious problem with a seriously ill patient or warning to indicate dangerous turbulence. In case beeps start blasting away like a random sandstorm, it may be time to worry seriously. Class wars. Each class in a plane has its peculiar advantages and disadvantages. The first class seat would seem a perfect solution for a comfortable long journey, but its immense price is a real problem. There are certain features you think are reserved for the first class, but are common in business class sections. Most of the airlines serve high-class and multi-course meals to passengers of first and business class. At times, food is served in fine quality china and glassware, and also plush pillows as well as blankets are provided. First class offers a slightly larger seat, and at times it provides a private suite and a few extra items on the menu. However, the huge price difference does not correspond to the critical difference in the services offered. Generally, a business class ticket is twice as pricey as a standard economy class seat, but for first class you will have to pay 6 times that of the economy class fare. Sky sleepers. Long-distance flights are quite boring and tiring. A keen passenger can notice a mystery door that looks like a plain old storage cupboard but actually opens into a totally secret room, known as a rest compartment. These are usually found in overhead areas for long-distance airplanes, with one on each of the front and rear of the plane for pilots and attendants respectively. Known as controlled rests, each flight attendant has a designated amount of time to rest and is woken up by fellows through an intercom once the break time is over. Pilots also get private quarters at the front of the plane, having 2 spacious sleeping compartments, 2 business class seats, a closet and a lavatory. A survey by the British Airlines Pilots Association showed that 84% of pilots informed that their ability to fly was compromised due to tiredness, whereas 56% admitted that they had fallen asleep while they were in charge of a plane. In May 2021, a pilot fell asleep for 40 minutes mid-air on a commercial flight from Cairns to Radcliffe in Australia and flew an extra 70 miles from his destination. Death deflying. In some cases, people die at quite high altitudes, maybe 30,000 feet, but it is rare. The cabin crew has to be well prepared to handle the eventuality of the in-flight death of a passenger. A dead passenger may remain in their seat or be shifted to a higher class seat or quieter cabin. The body is covered with a blanket by cabin crew after ensuring that it's properly buckled in for the safety of fellow passengers. Singapore Airlines has launched a fleet of aircraft having compartments particularly installed for storing an average-sized body in case of an in-flight death. These are known as corpse cupboards and were installed specifically on the Airbus A340-500 model, as these planes fly regular non-stop long-distance destinations like from Singapore to John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York City. It travels for 18 hours and 40 minutes. Their job isn't exactly glamorous. While TV shows and movies may make the life of a flight attendant seem like a non-stop party, the actual job is rarely that exciting, and it involves early wake-ups and long periods of time away from home. It's not as glamorous as it seems, says one flight attendant. People think a lot of our job is traveling to amazing places all the time and having long layovers, but a lot of the time it's a flight to Newark with a 10-hour layover or a red-eye flight to Hawaii just to turn right around. Can you share with us which of these flight secrets surprised you the most? Do you have any tips or tricks you learned during your air travel that you'd like to share with us in the comments? Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back soon with another amazing video.